293. Not doing sim racing today, bit odd. What I'm going to try out is my my other hobby in life, I suppose. I've always been into radio control cars of all sorts, really, from the early age of 9, from the early Tamiya years, all the way through. It's only recently that I sold all my RC gear that I had, that I've collected over the last, oh, I don't know, well, from like 79, which is eons ago, to probably most recent. So I would say 2016, 17, maybe 2019. I got rid of all my original RC gear, which I kind of regret. I had a lot of cars which I kind of kept in the garage and loft, as you do, and thought to myself that I wouldn't be needing it anymore, so I don't use it. But at the time I was thinking, should I get rid of it? I don't know. And as the years sort of have ticked on, things have changed. Obviously the cars that I was selling was really old, but there's still a lot of call for the vintage RC era, if you like. So anyway, I've bought a number of cars now, and this is the first one I want to kind of show you and show my plans. So as you can see here, it's this is only a Tamiya TT01 chassis, very basic. There's not a lot to this chassis, to be honest, but there are an endless amount of upgrades you can get for it if you're into like personalising your car, upgrading it to more durable parts, etc. So I'll quickly run through what I've got. I've got the camera on a stand at the moment, so I'm going to try and hopefully, if I can see what you can see, that's the front of the car. So you can see it looks pretty good. So first off, you can see I'm going to move the camera, so I'm going to have to get behind the camera so I know what I'm looking at. So as you can see, I'll zoom in there. These are sort of aftermarket shock absorbers, oil filled. The ones that come with the kit are just friction dampers, which do an okay job, I suppose. But I've upgraded these to the oil filled dampers, and I've changed the springs to the Tamiya tuned soft on-road springs. There's 4 in each corner, as obvious that may sound. Look further down into the, I'll zoom down there. You can see, I've not zoomed, but it's not that high tech. Just trying to see, down there. So I've upgraded the drive shafts. They're aluminium drive shafts, as opposed to the plastic ones that come with the kit, and they slot into, in this instance, plastic drive couplings. I've got some metal upgraded ones on their way, so I'll be replacing the ones that go into the gearbox, which is that end. You can't see the other end, but the other end goes into the drive shaft down there. Whilst we're on the corner, some aftermarket wheels and tyres. These are fairly soft, but they've got foams in them, and I have actually glued them to the rims. As you can see down there, the rims are kind of Momo type design, not rallying. That's what I can get on there. So they're fairly standard offset, nothing too trick on those ones at all. But you can see, if I zoom the camera around into there, you can see that there's kind of, because these wheels fit onto the hubs via like a typical hex design, so the hex goes into the wheel, and the wheel, well, and the hub is kind of pinned on a sort of dowel, if you like, to the stub axle. As you can see, the light can, it's not too dark, not very good light here, I'm afraid, but it looks like it's got discs. It's a small detail. I quite like that. So that's the same all round. I don't know if you can see down there, the centre drive shaft it's been changed. It's to an aluminium one, and you can see on the, if I go, it's underneath this plastic cowling there, but that's the upgraded ball raced steering. It's only fitted to standard steering arms at the moment, but I can get upgraded ones of those too. I mean, you can buy this kit in upgraded form if you like, with all the bits on it. It's probably cheaper overall, but I wasn't sure how far I would go with this particular kit. What else? So we've got a, what I'm going to do here is just literally move the car around. So I've upgraded the battery. Back, I can that wire. So just back in my day, they used to be NiCads. You have to forgive me, I didn't know what these were called, but nickel something hard drive. I can't remember. I'm not going to try and guess it. But it's a different type. Still 7.2, but this one's like 4,300 milliamp hours. So it puts out plenty of punch. It's electrics, which is fairly standard to be honest with you. Got the normal. I've got a 20 kilogram servo in there with the Sky RC receiver. These have changed a hell of a lot from when I first did it. These are really tiny now. As you can see, I've got my sort of reference there, like on my finger. They're really, really tiny. Speed controllers. You know, back in the day, these were quite new technology. I can remember paying nearly 200 quid for a speed controller for my Tamiya car back in the day. This one's £18, so they've come a long way. And you can see there the motor shroud's got a fan on it as well. That plugs directly into the receiver. Now the motor in this one's not standard. This is a titanium reedy. So it's a bit of a vintage motor, brushed. A lot of new motors are brushless. But this one's because it's done on turns, so the lower the number on turns, effectively, without getting too much detail, the kind of more punch that motor will put out. So this one's a 2x9, so 18 turn motor on a standard pinion and standard gearing, which doesn't bode well for the power that puts out. There's a speed gear upgrade as well. I've got the gears and everything up in the box. I haven't actually put them in yet. And you can change obviously the pinion size and the spur gear front. Well, the front one's there and the rear. So that's pretty much this kit. All these parts, the upgradable parts that you can see, I do actually sell on my eBay store. So you know, I tend to use everything that I sell to test it out. But one of the other things I'm going to do on this car is I'll just move it over here and just put it in front of the car like this, and I'll zoom down. So we've got a performance analyzer. I think it's made by Sky RC, and this can go on the car, which as you can see, it's just a sealed box effectively. I've got Velcro on the back. I've got to find somewhere on the car that's flat to actually put that. And this runs via an app on the phone, so it just, amongst many things, it can determine maximum speed, distance travelled, height. If you could put this on a plane, I suppose, and it gives you the top speed. So I'm not exactly going to be breaking records with this car, but my sort of process on the channel is going to be to record the runs the best I can and give you the timed runs of what I get and what I'm running. So I'll have a bit more detail about what the pinion I'm running on here and the spur gear. To be honest with you, it's just, if you just looked it up on the internet, it's the standard spur gear for the TT01. This is the Type E chassis. And the car that this, I mean, the chassis are fairly unique. What's the word I'm looking for? Universal. It's what you put on them. And what I'm going to do now is put the body shell on, just to show you what the car is. Put this down, and I'm just going to move a few things out of the way. Hopefully you can kind of see that, I suppose. Wow, I'm just trying to put it in such a place where it can be seen, but not there. Back there, so the body shell, which I'll just slip on, I'm not going to bolt it on as there, so I'll just slide this over. Again, it's not particularly, I wouldn't say that this is a particularly perfect model of the car, but it is a Ford RS200 4-wheel drive, as this chassis is. You can see there the body shell kind of splays out a little bit there. I've tried heating it up. I normally keep it tucked in when it's sat on the shelf here at home with a little bit of tape. So yeah, the plan is really to do some runs when the weather's a bit drier. The cold doesn't really bother me, but I don't want to go out there when it's tipping with rain. And hopefully record that and give you some feedback on the speed. And I'll keep sort of upgrading the car, putting different gear ratios on, maybe try different batteries. I think this motor is a modified motor. So there's only pretty much only like 3 types of motor that you can put on these. You've got the stock motor, standard, which is generally around 27 turns. And then you've got modified, which can be anything. I'm sure there was another one. I'm just trying to wrap my brains. Stock. I think you get 27 turns, which are kind of the can motors you get with the kits, and then you get like the stock motors, or like 22 turns. And then these ones, like modified, can be anything. Now, obviously, the amount of power they put out, the speed controller does have a little bit of a variant on that. So certain speed controllers won't work with higher performance motors. Within the kit, you just had a standard Tamiya speed controller, which only went down to, I can't remember off the top of my head, but 21 turns or something. Can't remember. And this one's 18. So every time I used this motor, it just cut out on the speed controller. And the motor that came with it is just a torque-tuned motor, which is fairly standard on most kits nowadays. Went reasonably well. I mean, I haven't used it outside. It was literally only zooming around on the hard floor in the kitchen, doing donuts. But this one's completely different. It actually, well, if I didn't glue the tyres on, the tyres would actually come off the rims just by performance on rotation without any sideways movement. So yeah, so hopefully at some point, not too far away, what I'm going to do depends on how much I get, how much interest, if any, of how many I do of these. I have got other cars, a couple of other electric ones, a couple of IC and nitro powered ones, which I'm going to hopefully do as well. Let me just see how we go. Well, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you very soon. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.